Hey, what's up, my witches? It's me, Luna. I'm coming to you on a beautiful morning here for a gift unboxing. This is a gift from Elizabeth C., and it is the Dreamkeepers Tarot. Now, of course, I've had to close my curtains a little bit because of the brightness, but we'll see how things go. So that you know, there is a wish list below. Amazon wish list, and if you pick a deck off of that list and purchase it for me, I will read for you on my unboxing video. I have a note from Elizabeth C. that says, "Hope this finds you well. I'm using this deck for deep dive in June." So this is a deck that she already has, and she wants to get my take on it. Very much enjoying it so far and hope it connects for you too. No question for a reading, just general inquiry. Thank you so much for all you do, from Elizabeth C. Well, you're so welcome, and thank you for what you've just done here. So if you want in on that deal, send me a little note with your Amazon purchase. If you have a specific question, I'll read on that. If not, it'll just be a general reading. So let's unbox this sucker, huh? You know, generally on the decks that I purchase, I de-plastic them before I get on the video, but here we go. I have had this deck in my sights for quite some time. This is by Liz Houston. Dreamkeepers Tarot deck and book set. Nice two-part box. Inspired by traditional Rider-Waite, the Dreamkeepers deck plumbs the spiritual depths of Tarot to help readers come to terms with the mysterious forces that influence our lives. The intriguing imagery of Dreamkeepers Tarot represents years of Liz Houston's journey of personal growth and healing, and includes new Tarot art created especially for this U.S. Game Systems edition. So does that mean it was an indie beforehand? She represents Tarot as a mirror that reflects our deep inner truths and reveals our hidden motivations, beliefs, and expectations. Her art creates an alchemical blend of multiple paint media with digital photographic montage, offering signs and symbols to help the reader interpret Tarot and all its wisdom. Includes 78 cards and 180-page illustrated guidebook with instructions for relationship readings and for making life choices, for taking a drink of water. Okay, this is copyright 2020 by U.S. Game Systems. All righty. The box is matte, as you can see. Now, see, I'm never sure. Oh, you can. I was going to say, when they put thumb holds on boxes that are too big to hold with one hand, I wonder, but no surprises inside. Here's the book. Ooh, just the image on this. So we have a hefty book. And we've got preface, introduction, basics of Tarot and reading the cards, setting the space and asking the question, interpreting the cards, sample Tarot spreads. All right, let's go looking through here. The introduction is quite long. I'm going to go to the last paragraph here. In creating these cards, I held to the established structure of the world's leading Tarot deck, the Rider-Waite Tarot, illustrated by Pamela Coleman Smith. This is a deck that I've personally used for readings over the last 27 years. The Dreamkeepers, see that right there is good information. I like to know, you know, where the artist is coming from, and this person is obviously coming from deep roots in the Waite-Smith deck and lots of experience reading. Much appreciated. The Dreamkeepers Tarot consists of 78 cards, 40 pip cards, 16 court mentors, and 22 major arcana cards, as does the Rider-Waite-Smith. Now, this is like the third deck in a row that I've unboxed that has referred to the regular, the ace through 10 of the minor arcana as pip cards, rather than just the suits of the minor arcana. And it's, I understand why, but I wish they wouldn't use that term pip cards unless they are actually pip cards and not cards with images, at any rate. If you're versed in Rider-Waite-Smith deck, you'll notice how faithful many of the Dreamkeepers Tarot cards have been in their reimaginings, both visually and in written interpretations, while other cards in this deck exemplify an expanded view, a modern view, or a newly feminine view. Know that they have each been created with a full sense of respect and reverence, with the integrity intact of that. Okay, with the integrity intact of that from which I learned. Okay, I think I get it. Then we have basics, setting the space, interpreting the cards. Here are the spreads: card a day, this or that, a spin on the card a day reading. Okay, choosing between two paths. Ooh, I like doing readings like this. If I have a, sorry, my camera's freaking out for some reason. Stop. Stop, dear. We don't need to be doing the hoppy thing. Okay. But doing, you know, an either or reading where you say, this is one, this is the other, like with Lenormand readings, sometimes it's like the top row, 2 rows of 5, top row is this, bottom row is this, and then you can blend them as well. Then we have Path of the Heart and Simplified Relationship Spread. Then the Mirror of Relationship Spread. Very interesting that that we have ones that are very much geared towards relationships. Let me go back a little bit to the intro. In the artwork I created for Dreamkeepers Tarot, you will notice a preponderance of the female form. This is a deliberate choice, one that reflects my own journey toward wholeness. The greatest healing I personally experienced while studying different spiritual traditions and modalities occurred as the result of repairing my own internal relationship with her, the sacred feminine, the goddess. I learned to stop blaming and shaming her, to cease ignoring her voice and power, and instead to welcome her ancient wisdom into my own psyche and heart. There's a deep intrinsic healing value in mending the feminine spirit individually. For far too long, many thousands of years, in fact, the knowing voices of mighty wise women of heart and integrity have been silenced. The heart of a woman is a powerful thing, and when she lives her life ruling from this great center point within, she bases her decisions on what is best for the whole, for all living creatures, not just her own selfish gains. The balancing healing force of the empowered feminine spirit is of vital importance in these times, and we must heal this part of ourselves if we're to continue to thrive and avoid societal and planetary collapse. Absolutely agree. And I also agree that the masculine needs healed as well. And then, you know, the third thing that's happening is moving beyond these binary norms. I love how our discipline is reflecting our evolution at this time. It's amazing. So my intention then in these cards is to empower the feminine. This means not only empowering women, but the crucial awakening and support of the feminine aspects within all. Okay, so we get it. Now, let's look at, we looked at the spreads that are offered, and then we go straight into the cards. Okay, so the majors. Okay, let's see here. In their linear story, often called the Fool's Journey, the major arcana represents experiences we all encounter in our journey through life. Okay, unlike the tidy sequence of the major arcana 0 through 21, our own Fool's Journey is anything but linear, as we jump around from lesson to lesson according to the developmental needs of our own. Okay, so she's not talking about this major arcana, she's talking about personally, that we kind of jump around. All right, then we have a key phrase for each of the majors. We have a big description, and then we have divinatory message, and then we boil that down into keywords upright and reversed. Let's go to the minors. The suit of wands. Each suit has a description ahead of it, and same thing as the majors. We get a phrase, we get a description, quite lengthy. Divinatory message, keywords in reverse. So the minors get every bit as much print space as the majors get, and I dig that. And oh, okay, about the artist. Liz Houston, a native of Los Angeles, California, may live in a place known for interesting characters, but it's in Houston's imagination where the truly unique characters exist. entirely self-taught. Houston's work, and let's hear it for the self-taught artists. Okay. Houston's work has evolved over 2 decades from a traditional film photography focus into digital assemblage, photomontage, and currently into mixed media through combining acrylics, oil, and watercolors with her digital works. I love that. She's been committed to esoteric studies for over 2 decades. She's studied goddess spirituality, tarot, astrology, Buddhism, Hinduism, and other traditional streams with esteemed practitioners, and sat in ceremony with renowned priestesses. She's a full-time artist. She has a gallery called her Studio Shoppy in downtown Los Angeles. She's a featured photographer in Juxtapose magazine, the Parisian art magazine Hey, and was named one of the photographers you should know by Rangefinder magazine. Now, this is where I'm getting, okay, so she was a contributor to the Pride deck. And then we have the index of artwork. So every card has an index of the named works of art for each of these that she's created. Wow. Okay. A lot of information. We have a ribbon pull. And more plastic. Okay. Plastic that wants to stick to me. Okay, the back of the cards, it's a very subtle monochromatic palette, very delicate. There is a lot of detail that I hope, I have to find my camera because I changed its position. Subtle, but look at the detail and look at the shadow. Wow, okay. So here is the Fool. And we don't see, you can't really see what she's standing on here. Okay, old eyes. Maybe you can see it better, but your light is better than my light. That kind of sucks. Anyway, here's the Fool. Definitely looking like she's ready to step off into something here. Tripping gaily. We have the Creatrix for the Magician. So even though she was saying that, you know, they're firmly rooted and very familiar, this is not recognizable as the Magician to me. So I appreciate the Roman numeral. I see like an elemental symbol up there, but it might just be an accidental triangle. Look at the bubbles. Still, though, I don't recognize that as the Magician. So good thing to have the images internalized. Here's the High Priestess. Look at her standing in a nest. She's got kind of skeletal bat wings, it looks like, and horns on her head. And we've got, like, are those lamps? So definitely major departure from traditional images. Here's the Empress. Very dreamlike, that's for sure. So Dreamkeepers, you know, thinking about that term, Dreamkeepers. And let me go back here for a second to see if she mentions the name. She actually does talk more about the creation of the deck in the preface, which I didn't read. And there are several paragraphs about her personal journey and what she was going through in the nearly 12 years that it took to create the deck. In the last paragraph, she says, "I believe the cards themselves are the dream keepers, for they never left. They held fast to the dream for this deck in a decade of personal uncertainty. Looking back, I see how they guided me through every meaningful moment of the most tumultuous, painful, exciting, and profound decade of my life, and I know in my heart they will do the same for all who read them." Here's the Emperor. He's looking very emperorish. Of course, we've got the ram's heads there. So this is the first one that's really overtly recognizable. Here's the Hierophant, another feminine image. Look at the 3 faces. So instead of like the Hierophant and 2 supplicants, we have a camera that will not pop in. Come on, darling. There we are. All right. I'm so stubborn. And we've got like a caduceus. She has a wand and there's a snake going up. The Lovers. Look at this. That we have... I've got these little moon phases here. It's kind of like empty clothing and these masks and the birds. There's a lot to definitely key in on, and images that may really resonate with the subconscious mind. Here's the Chariot, and we see the moons again and the masks again. Fascinating. Here's the Strength card. And again, we have these, so it's, I'm starting to feel this very heavy emphasis on the subconscious, the unconscious, because we've got like this partial mask and then this cloudy background. And to me, it's a strong invitation to go behind the mask, to go behind the conscious mind, and let images and meanings kind of surface. Here's the Hermit. There's a candle. The images are subtle, very subtle. I'm looking forward to looking at this with light that is appropriate for my old eyes, that is inappropriate for shooting a video. And look at this. It's like they've been peeled like an apple. And these are, rather than the Wheel of Fortune, we have the Fates. Perfect. The Fates for the Wheel of Fortune is always a very perfect correspondence. Justice. Isn't she lovely? So we've got kind of multiple arms, sort of reminiscent of Hindu and Buddhist deities. And rather than a blindfold, we just have this blank mask, no facial features. She's got an athame in her hand, a book, and I guess these are the scales. Then there's this little dude down here. I'm not sure what he's doing. Here's the Hanged Woman. I mean, I feel like the light I have here is even too bright, but as I've said before, there are many wonderful high-def flip-throughs that you can check out. And here's another image that has, this is Death, that has the snake wrapped around here. Very interesting, this kind of shroud almost of light. The subtle skull there. Here's Temperance. Look at the puzzle pieces. Oh my goodness. I really like this. So Temperance, that generally shows pouring liquid from one vessel into another. Putting two things together, right? Blending, the blending of. And here we have it envisioned. Oh, I'm getting a really strong, like, just image vibe from this childhood. Anyway, putting these pieces together, you know, blending them together to create a whole image. I really appreciate that take on it. Here's the Devil. Look at him whispering in the ear. The Tower. Wow. I could see myself really spending time. So Elizabeth says that she's been doing a deep dive with this deck, and I can see it is an invitation. Every image in this deck is an invitation to go deeper, because there's just a lot to think about, to kind of ruminate on in your subconscious mind. You know, I feel like I want to install these images. Here's the image from the cover, the star. Look at the ship in her hair. Look at this. Oh, look at the fish bones, the fish skeleton. here's the moon. So again, if there weren't the title on it of the moon, would I recognize this as the moon? Probably not, but it is a great image for the moon. And here's the sun. So yeah, very feminine. I love these vintage looking images. Then we have Judgment. Look at that. Rise up. So this image really calls to mind that idea of leveling up, of transformation, but evolution too, moving forward. Here's the World. I love the multiple arms. Very cool. The Ace of Wands, we're looking through a keyhole. I really like that. And she's stirring a cauldron with that wand. Here's the 2. So we very definitely see, you know, the 2 wands depicted. Here's the 3. We see the ships. So now we're getting into much more familiar territory image-wise. Here's the 4. I love kind of people as trees. Look at them coming towards each other into, I mean, yeah, I love it. Here's the 5. Look at the kind of flares. Here's the 6. Victory. You certainly get that idea. And the 7, look at the bird head. And this creature, whatever that is. The 8, oh, looky. The 9, look at the segments, the segmenting of the arms. So you can get that idea of being wounded. Here's the 10. I like the roots, the mirror, the skeleton. She's holding this mirror up, but there's this skeleton face next to her as well. Okay, so we separate the quartz. Here's the Ace of Cups. And the 2, so we get a relationship. And again, people as trees. I love it. Here's the 3. Look at the trail of butterflies. 4. The coloring is so subtle. So if you really dig images that are bold and colorful and stark and contrasty, this is not the deck for you. Very subtle. This is a Neptunian deck. Ding, ding, ding. This is a Neptunian deck. It really does want to speak directly to the subconscious. All of these images, the vagueness, very Neptunian. There's the 4 and the 5. 6 of Cups, we get the idea of childhood, sitting on a skeleton bird cloud. And here's the 7. Look at these all these partial masks, and she's holding one. What mask do I want to wear? What illusion do I want to step into? Wow. Here's the 8. And the 9. I like that really close-up image here. And there's the 10 of Cups, so we don't see a family together. Just a woman kind of sitting on a rainbow. Swords, I like that image. I like the umbrella. The dark gown. Here's the 2, with a very distinct blindfold there. Look at the hands detached from the body. And kind of the head detached from the body. Very interesting stuff. There's the 3 of Swords. And the 4. A lot of crescent moons here. 5 of Swords. Tentacles. So you can see these people kind of going out of frame while she's there. Haha, I've gotten them all. Here's the 6. Wow, just interesting images. There's the 7, the thief, and look at the mask there too. The 8, another blindfold. Thank you for that. But look at inside. There's kind of a whole nother thing. I think she does this thing where you're splitting the clothing open and there's a whole new scene inside. Wow. The 9. Ay, ay, ay. You certainly see what that's depicting. And the 10. Here's the Ace of Pentacles. The 2. There's, I was going to say, a slight vibe of the Chicoli, but only because of the vintagey look of some of these. Because there certainly is, are elements of photographs that make it much more real looking. But still, it's a surreal language of the subconscious thing. Yeah, speaking of surreal, check this out. Here's the 3 of Pentacles. Wow. The 4. Again, the hands detached from the body. I am just fascinated by these images. Here's the 5. Look at the hands reaching out. 6. This face is almost like, sit, sit. Good doggy. Very interesting vibe there. Okay, 7. Reassessment, the green of earth. Here's the 8. She's got a mask in her lap. I don't get the idea of apprenticeship or honing skills there, but I know what the 8 of Pentacles stands for. Here's the 9. Wow. You definitely get that 9 of Pentacles vibe with that one. Here's the 10. Again, we don't have a family shown, just a person. Here's the Page of Wands, the Knight. Looky, a dude with 4 legs. The King, oh, so the King comes first, and then the Queen is at the top. What do you know? So, the only way that we would know that structure is by the order that these cards are placed here, as before we shuffle them. I'm wondering what we say about the courts. The court mentors. So talking about court cards being indicative of people. When there are many court cards in a spread, this generally indicates there are multiple people and personalities. Absolutely. First thing to say when you do a spread and there's lots of courts is there are a lot of people that have dogs in this fight, and opinions about it. Pages represent messages and communications. Knights represent action of some sort. Kings are leaders and authority figures. Queens possess a more internal orientation. So she lists them in, that order, kings and then queens, but there really is no difference in what, their traditional attributes and meanings are. All right, well, interesting. More masks. Here's the Page of Cups. The Knight. No horses. The King and the Queen. Look at the moons. Then we have the Swords, Page, Knight. There, horsey, yay, something moving. King. I love the multiple limbs. And the Queen, wow, look at her. And there's the Pentacles, the Page, the Knight, the King, and the Queen there with the horns on her head again. All right, charcoal is lit. Let's do a blessing of this deck. And while I'm blessing this deck, I am sending these blessings to you, Elizabeth, for this generous gift. Of course, your name and your note will be taped into the book so that I can send you blessings every time I use it. Here, may air and fire purify and charge this deck, and bring in inspiration and vision. And by water and earth, my ocean water, may you be blessed and made whole. And by the sound of the bell, may the spirit awaken. Guides and guardians, allies and ancestors, thank you so much for being here. Help me through. As you always do, I offer you fresh water and the fire of Azrael for the spirit of divination to awaken in this deck. All right, looking forward to shuffling as it's US Games deck. As you can see, it fits in my hand quite nicely. Standard cardstock. Not anticipating any issues whatsoever, and I'm right because it shuffled quite nicely. All right, let's have several shuffles, and then I will cut. And I think we're just going to do, since it's a general spread, we're not going to do categories. We're just going to do a free flow 10-card spread. And this is where I will remind you that if you buy me a deck from the list below, you can have me read for you too. Yes, you can. All right. All right, for Elizabeth C. Elizabeth C. For Elizabeth C. Elizabeth C. What do we have to tell her? Oh, that one wants to come out, so let's go here. And then we're just going to continue on. The Six of Wands, the King of Pentacles. Let me scoochy things back since I have a bigger surface to work with now. Okay. So we have three courts. We have the King, the Knight, and the Page, all of Pentacles. Interesting, because they were obviously shuffled, you know, so they didn't fall together. But we've got a lot right there that tells me that practicality is key, and possibly working with others on a very practical, step-by-step basis. Following a list, following a to-do thing, following a structure because of the Suit of Pentacles. All right. And Page of Pentacles is at the center, so let's go with him first, her first. Him, her, them first. An inspiring message of prosperity in body, mind, or spirit. I don't think I'm going to read this entire thing, but we'll do a lot here just to give you an idea. In the depths of a lush rainforest, a young woman stands at the edge of a slow-moving stream. She is unclothed, but the scene is not erotic in nature, instead suggesting innocence and openness. She is accompanied by two skeleton creatures, a water bird representing connections between heaven and earth, and a serpent, a symbol of the creative life force and bringer of knowledge as found in the biblical Garden of Eden. Pages represent communication, are full of youthful enthusiasm, and pentacles deal with the material realm. Like an ambitious student gearing up for an important exam, this card represents the idea of studiousness, loyalty, dedication, cautiousness, and the capacity for clear communication. Often this card represents results that include a diploma or a finished creative project. So here's where we are definitely sticking with the Waite Smith meanings. Page of Pentacles has always represented to me schooling, structured schooling of some sort, and I've always said it's more than just reading a book. It's something structured, like taking a class, or teaching a class is also a possibility. So a child of earth, it deals with the material realm. The divinatory message I will read in entirety. When the Page of Pentacles card appears, it brings a message related to prosperity, but this is not limited to money or material goods. One can be prosperous in many ways, in health, in wealth, in mind, in body. Consider what the page is telling you at this time, where your chance of greatest enrichment lies and how to respond accordingly. There's no time like the present to communicate deeply with your own self and with the great life force that flows through you. It can at times be truly difficult to slow down, be still, silent, and listen long enough to hear the body's messages. The benefits from such a dialogue, however, are well worth any difficulty, for these insights lead to health, wealth, and the knowledge of what would nourish you deeply in all levels of physical experience, body, mind, and spirit. The upright keywords are loyalty, dedication, healthy body, and clear communication. Reverse says illness, money concerns, and need for study. But I am also going to stick with just that schooling of some sort, taking a class, teaching a class. So we have Six of Wands, King of Pentacles, and Two of Cups. Six of Wands, of course, being the victory card. Okay, so let's go. Let's just walk through the book meanings. Six of Wands, little phrase, says a moment of victory and triumph. The divinatory message, this card indicates there's honor and reward ahead for you. For the moment, you are number one, a position that was earned and reached as a result of hard work and tireless efforts. Congratulations. You are rewarded. So it talks about glory and triumph being short-lived. The upright is triumph, acclaim, pride, self-confidence, recognition. And then we have the King of Pentacles. So this is recognition that comes with resources. Recognition that comes with a monetary or material gain. And it comes at a time when you have great skills of dealing with the financial. So this could be success in handling resources, success in making your resources work for you, success in getting through a tight patch, but success in handling your resources, being the boss of your resources. And then we have Two of Cups, which of course is relationship. And I am going to look at King of Pentacles just for his keywords. Wealth through effort maintained by wisdom and generosity. Wealth, effort, abundance, generosity, leader. So this is a period of success. At least we're coming from a period of success and a period of union. A harmonious or romantic union, sensual pleasures. Connection, alliance, attraction, partnership, romance. So there's a sharing of resources. There's an alliance where we share our resources, but somebody's definitely the boss of them. Then we have the Knight of Pentacles. Time to get moving and put ideas into action now. Time to get moving, because the Knight of Pentacles traditionally is the knight that stands still. His horse is not moving at all. Ideas, talent, inertia, unrealized potential. So that's why that key phrase says it's time to get moving. But I kind of dislike when there's like that phrase, and the phrase is sort of the advice and not really what the card means. The card means things are not moving. So it's like things are parked, they're stable, so that can indicate stability. But if we look at knights as taking action, yes, knights are, so she doesn't assign elements, but knights certainly are indicative of action. And she does describe people indicated by the courts by age. Pages, birth to 19 years. Knights are 18 to 35. Kings are mature, though not always men. represent mature adults tend to be masculine in nature, though not always men. And same thing with the queens. Mature adults, feminine in nature, though not always women. Thank you for that. Okay. So, Knight of Pentacles says that things, you know, with this kind of success, that things are sort of stable now, but parked. And note that he is looking to the left, which talks about looking to the past. So I'm getting a little bit of a glimmer of sort of wanting to cling to the past. Page of Pentacles in the middle says perhaps we need to spend some of these resources on either continuing education or leveling up, but definitely period of study and education. Then we have the Chariot. So here's our first major. We have two majors. And the Chariot says, mastery of the self, harnessing the power of the mind to confidently steer one's life. The Chariot is always, to me, a reminder of who is in the driver's seat in our life. We are. It's a card of empowerment. It's certainly a card of movement. It's often a card of choice, as we have two horses, a black and a white, indicating that there's a choice of ways. And at the same time, how interesting. I'm thinking a reverse meaning of the Chariot could mean getting pulled in two different directions, like you're going to be split in half and you need to choose one way to go. But we are certainly, look at the page is looking towards the Chariot here, saying one of the things that I want to do is really get moving. So, okay, so the Knight can indicate looking to the past and things being stable to the point of inertia. And then the Chariot is over here. So it's saying that you really are in a place of turning from the past stuff and looking at how you can get things moving again. Two of Swords. Stuck at a crossroads, unable to move forward. Wow, check that out, you guys. I really like that. So coming under, you know, we've had victory, and if you look at this side as leaning towards the past and this side leaning towards the future, we can see that there was victory and kind of a tendency to maybe rest on those laurels, and that now we're kind of going into a mental lockdown, that I sort of can't see my way forward, blindfold. All right, so the first thing with Two of Swords is check yourself for denial. Check for any place that you're just not willing to go there, not willing to look, not willing to see, okay? Because there is an indication of a decision to be made. We've got those two horses, and then we got the two swords. So maybe the way to move forward is through making a decision, but we need to be very clear and aware of what the choices are. A lot of times when the Two of Cups or the Two of Swords comes up, and particularly the Eight of Swords, but those are the two blindfold cards of the minors, right? They can indicate, they can come up at a time when you're saying, I just don't have a choice. But the blindfold says there's always a choice. You're just not willing to look at all of them. You're just not willing to acknowledge, okay, that is a choice. Because sometimes those choices are in the category of, I would never do that. But it's still a choice. And sometimes just acknowledging that there is indeed a choice can get you out of the lockdown of, I don't have a choice. You know, this is it. It's decided for me. I have no choice. Okay. So let's go to the Three of Wands. Success through vision, stamina, and strength. The Three of Wands talks about launching a project, launching an effort. The message of the Three of Wands is that you have what it takes to see your vision all the way through to fruition. But the step is in launching it. And look at how she's looking towards the Two of Swords. She's saying, make up your mind. Decide which. Okay, I have something else to help you frame. the key words here are foresight, exploration, leadership, progress, expansion. I want to contrast that with the Two of Wands, personal power, boldness, originality, decisions. What I'm not seeing there is that vibe of actually the creation, creating a plan, start to formulate a plan, and then the 3 says, and now I'm sending it out into the world. So the thing that I want to do to help you break the stalemate of decision here is ask yourself, okay, here's a particular choice. Ask yourself, what will happen if I make that choice? And then what won't happen if I make that choice? Then ask, what will happen if I don't make that choice? And what won't happen if I don't make that choice? That is a great frame to run things through because it just shifts your perspective slightly so you can see all the way around that question. It's kind of an exercise in the ecology of a question. How does this choice fit into the reality of my life? What would change? What wouldn't change? And it actually really brings your expectations to the surface too. And it's a very strong check of expectations against reality. All right, then we have the creatrix. We have the magician here. Focused flow of creative energy in order to manifest on the physical plane. Let's read the divinatory message because this is, we didn't read a lot in the chariot. Okay, the creatrix, traditionally known as the magician, is a powerful card of creation and manifestation. Illustrated here is a representation of the primordial cosmic energy of the universe, the unified field from which all things are manifest. The downward facing triangle, yes, I did see that, represents the yoni, the feminine principle. It's also the water, symbol for water. Yeah, it is the source of life, the element of water, and is also referred to as the chalice. The upward facing triangle, where is that? Where is that? How do I not see? Oh, I guess it's the hands. Okay. Represents intense spiritual aspiration, the element of fire, and is the masculine principle also known as the blade. The presence of both triangles intensifies the power of each. Yeah, we have a bad grammatical agreement there. The presence of both triangles intensify. So the thing there is the presence. The presence intensifies the power of each. My Virgo mind, picky. And in the space where they meet is the central point of awareness and creation. Okay. She talks about manifestation, the law of attraction. So personal power. Creatrix encourages you to conceive a specific intention and take meaningful action in order to bring forth what you desire into being. Put simply, you are called to create. You've reached this point of conscious manifestation because you are becoming aware and are committed to the actualization of your vision. All right, so upright is creation, action, power, concentration, conscious awareness. So we are coming from past success and the ability to handle our resources and support a supportive partnership. And we are called now to come out of sitting on those past laurels and look at what's the next level of what I need to learn, because it's time to get moving. It's almost like things are moving underneath you and you need to catch up. It's go time, all right? It's time to make a decision and get clarity on the decision and look at things as clearly as you possibly can for the purpose of launching a project. For the purpose of launching, because the creatrix says it is time now to manifest. It is time now to put all these pieces together into a vision of what I'm trying to manifest. And the last card we get is Judgment. It's time to level up. It is time to rise up. It's time to rise up and out of kind of the inertia of the Knight of Pentacles, that that time when we are inactive because we do have so much comfort. So stepping away from the comfort zone, but at the center of it is learning. Structured learning. Let's take a look at Judgment. They certainly give a coherent reading. There is no doubt about that. And I like the way I can just read them as a story flowing. Okay. A powerful spiritual transformation from which there is no turning back. But let's look at it on all levels. It does, it starts from internally. It starts from the spirit. Actually, it goes both ways. We can level up on a big level like this. If it's conscious, we can start by changing the practical things. Here's what I want to do. Does the way my life is set up support that change? And we can start changing things in order to make it easy to evolve into the next level. And then there are those times where we have an event in life that can shock us into the old falling away, new insights, new growth. And then from that, everything on a physical and a practical level changes. All right. Well, that's the world. I read that part. No turning back. Absolutely no turning back. It's complete change. The keywords: closure, awakening, resurrection, absolution, inner calling. The last sentence of the divinatory message says, open your wings, freed from the burdens of what has expired, and begin to move on. So what has expired? This is the death of the earthly, the thing that can die, and the things that are no longer serving you, the things whose usefulness has expired are falling away, and the truth that you've learned from that is emerging and allowing you to level up. I mean, this could even be just talking about your study of the tarot, but I think we have a broader thing here. And if we put Judgment there over top of that page, we can see at the heart of this is that you are poised for this transformation. Okay, I want to see something. In the present, the man or the part of you that is in charge of resources can fund learning and education, which can help you launch the creative project. That's in the present. The past, we talked about the inertia and indecision from kind of focusing on past victories. And in the future, we've got Two of Cups, so we have supportive relationship that helps things really move, and then you can kick off and start the number 1 card. And then and so if we look at this as the present, it looks like there already is this evolutionary transformation happening internally, spiritually, that is really enabling you to start this whole process, and it also is the reward of this whole process. So what do you think? I mean, I know what you think of the deck. What do you think of what I think? I hope that the reading resonates for you, and again, express my gratitude for this generous gift. Yeah, so happy to have this on my shelf. And what I usually do when I unbox a deck is, as soon as I'm done shooting, I do a personal reading. So I'm really looking forward to that. Again, gratitude for all of you for hanging out and watching this video. And please hit the like button so more people get to see my stuff. If you find something so incredibly valuable that you have to send me money, there are links down below. You should know that that money goes towards decks whenever I receive it. So you can either pick out a deck or you can send me money to buy a deck. And I appreciate anything you decide to do to support this channel. I will see you next time on an unboxing or a live stream. And until then, this is Luna. Blessed be.